Welcome to our channel, where we update the dramatic developments, unexpected twists and never-before-revealed secrets of the hit TV series Beyond the Gates. We not only narrate, but also expand, fictionalize and exploit the details, to bring an emotional and surprising experience to fans. Today, we will take you into a story full of tragedy, betrayal and betrayal, where Dani not only separates the love between Bill and Hayley, but also drags both of them into a nightmare with no way out. No one expected that the seemingly peaceful days were the beginning of a painful breakup. When Bill and Hayley walked hand in hand into a relationship that both believed was destined. No one expected that the one who broke it all was not time, not circumstances, but a third person named Dani, a gentle name, but behind it was a storm of emotions, tricks and obsessions that had been suppressed for many years. At first, Dani appeared as just a harmless old friend, someone who had a vague connection with Bill in the past. Unclear but undeniable. Hayley, with absolute trust in Bill, never once doubted the accidental meetings that Dani deliberately arranged. She had no idea that from the moment Dani returned, everything had been meticulously planned, from seemingly harmless conversations to actions that seemed sincere concern. Dani is a woman who does not accept failure. In the past, when Bill left her without saying goodbye, Dani's heart turned to stone. She carried hatred, but also a sick love that never ended. Dani once believed that time would make her forget Bill. But the truth was completely the opposite. When she heard that Bill was happy with Hayley, something inside her arose, something that urged her to take back what she had lost, at all costs. At first, it was small messages, sometimes simply an old photo of them together sent to Bill's phone in the middle of the night. Hayley accidentally saw it but said nothing. She trusted Bill. But that silence was the door Dani needed to open. She gradually crept into Bill's mind with old memories, with times when she pretended to be weak and needed help, with intentional tears. And Bill, despite trying to stay firm, began to waver, not because of the old love that was still passionate, but because of the feeling of guilt. The feeling of having to take responsibility for someone who had deeply hurt him. The separation gradually formed not through arguments, but through silence between two people who had never been able to leave each other's side. Hayley felt the change, but she did not know the source. Bill became silent, his eyes sometimes lost. The evenings together were no longer happy moments, but instead felt cold like two strangers. The climax was when Hayley discovered a recording on Bill's phone, a conversation between him and Dani, where Dani said that she still loved him, and he did not deny it. Hayley collapsed, but remained silent. She hoped that it was just a moment of weakness. She hoped that Bill would return to her like before. But Dani didn't stop there. When she knew Hayley was suspicious, Dani took the initiative to approach her, not with public words, but with hidden words during random meetings. Intentionally leaving lipstick marks on Bill's neck. Intentionally letting Hayley see half-hearted messages, as if she was the one who interfered in a love that was no longer intact. In the end, when all the evidence was exposed, Hayley had nothing left to cling to. She couldn't stay with someone who every time she looked into his eyes, she saw the image of another woman. Bill couldn't explain either. He couldn't deny that he had let Dani into his mind, and let what should have been the past destroy the present. He apologized, but the apology came too late. Hayley left. No tears, no blame. She carried the hurt but no lingering feelings. Dani thought she had one, but what she won was not love, but an empty, guilty man who no longer believed in himself. Dani did not have Bill as she expected. She had him, but not his heart. She won the war, but lost her life. After Hayley disappeared from the city, Bill was immersed in a feeling of emptiness. He began to see Dani as a haunting figure, as a misguided addiction that he had never been able to control. He tried to return to work, tried to fill the long days with a packed schedule. But nothing could fill the void that Hayley left. There were nights when he dreamed of her, her gentle smile, her thoughtful gaze, her final silence as a sentence. Dani was there, but only physically. There was nothing left between them but guilt and a twisted relationship. Bill gradually realized that Dani did not love him, but only the idea of him, a non-existent version. a model of what she could not control in the past. And he had not been himself since losing Hayley. That anonymous message, though it was only a few words, had kept Bill awake for many nights. He tried to dismiss it as a cruel joke, a hallucination of a remorseful man. But then came a second message, this time a blurry photo, a silhouette of a woman standing by a lake. The sunset reflecting off her familiar long hair, her back unmistakably Hayley. Bill was no longer calm. He plunged into investigation, searching for every piece of the life that Hayley had left behind. The old apartment was empty, but the mailbox was still full of unopened letters, letters sent from unclear addresses. As if Hayley had never left, she had just disappeared from everyone's sight. He followed the clues, went to familiar coffee shops, asked old friends, and finally, he found the only person who knew something, a homeless woman who used to live near Hayley's house, whispering she was being followed. She didn't leave because she wanted to. She hid. Each piece of the past, like broken mirrors, began to fit together. Dani not only broke Bill and Hayley's love with sophisticated tricks, but was also the one who pushed Hayley into isolation, causing her to be followed, monitored, and threatened. No one believed Hayley when she told them about the midnight calls, the secret photos, the eyes that followed her in the dark. Everyone thought it was the paranoia of an abandoned woman. Only she knew that Dani was the one pulling the strings. As Bill slowly came to his senses, Dani began to feel the change. He became reserved, evasive, no longer proactive like before. She felt the distance return, this time not because Hayley still existed in his heart, but because she herself had gone too far. Dani rummaged through Bill's phone, discovering messages, photos, and haunting search history. She knew that if she did nothing, he would return to Hayley, or worse, expose the whole truth. But Dani was not one to be pushed aside. She acted first. One evening, Bill suddenly disappeared. His phone was unreachable, his car was found on the edge of the woods, but there was no other sign. The news spread, people thought he had an accident or committed suicide out of remorse. Only a few people believed he was kidnapped. And one person knew better than anyone, Hayley. Hayley had been following Dani from afar, not out of hatred, but because she knew Dani was dangerous. She did not return to get Bill back, but to prevent another tragedy. She secretly recorded Dani's every move, hired a detective to investigate, and collected evidence. The first anonymous message was sent by her. The photo by the lake was also her way of reminding Bill that everything was not over. She used to not believe in forgiveness, but when she saw Bill looking for her, Dani no longer by his side, his eyes filled with regret and the desire to make amends, she knew she had to appear, not for love, but for justice. When she finds out Bill has been arrested, Hayley knows what's going on. She returns to the city and shares all the information she's gathered with a reporter friend. A series of articles begin to surface, exposing Dani's past manipulation, harassment, invasion of privacy, and even disappearances. From a seemingly perfect woman, Dani becomes the focus of suspicion. She panics, wanting to keep Bill hidden in an abandoned house in the suburbs where no one can find him. But just when Dani thinks she has everything under control, everything falls apart. Bill escapes. He's no longer the blind man he once was. He returns to the city, and together with Hayley, files a lawsuit against Dani with all the evidence, both legal and moral. The police get involved. Dani was caught on a winter morning, her eyes still filled with wonder, as if she didn't understand why everything had turned against her. Hayley didn't return to Bill. She chose to live her own life, peacefully and without any more toxic things. Bill didn't hold on either. He understood that some wounds could never be mended. But there was respect between them. A silent promise that if they met again one day, they would smile, no longer resentful. The story between the three seemed to end there. But in a separate cell, Dani sat down to write a letter, not to Bill, not to Hayley, but to a mysterious person named Evelyn, the person who had helped her track Hayley in the past. The person who looked normal but was behind many other terrifying mental manipulations. The letter was a whisper, a cry for help, and also a new beginning for another plot. Because Dani never accepted defeat, and this time, she would not only aim for the hearts, but also the entire lives of those who dared to turn their backs on her. Thank you for following the story until the end. If you find this content interesting and want to continue to explore the creepy secrets, the unexpected twists in Beyond the Gates, don't forget to subscribe and follow our channel so you don't miss any of the latest developments. We will continue to bring you more exciting and surprising sequels.